بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Math grade 8. We are in model 5 lesson 5. Today we have non-linear functions. Non-linear functions. In this lesson we want to determine if a function represented in different forms is a linear or non-linear function by using the rate of change, shape of the graph, or structure of the equation. The first idea, we want to identify linear and non-linear functions from graphs. Linear functions have graphs that are straight lines, because the rate of change between any two data points is a constant, and nonlinear functions are functions whose rate of change are not constant, and therefore their graphs are not straight lines. For example, we have here a graph, and when you see inside the graph line, means here we have linear, and if you see here curve or not line, means we have here non-linear. We have non-linear. Example, identify linear and non-linear function from graphs. Determine whether the graph represents a linear or non-linear function. Explain. As you see here, this function, is the graph a straight line with a constant rate of change? So as you see here, we don't have a straight line. So this is no. So the function is non-linear because the graph is not straight line, Determine whether the graph represents a linear or non-linear function. As you see, we have here curve, so means non-linear. The function is non-linear because the graph is not a straight line and doesn't have a constant rate of change. Identify linear and non-linear functions from graphs. A square has side length of s inches. The area of the square is a function of the side length. Graph the function to determine if it is linear or non-linear and explain. The first step, make a table of values. Complete the table to show the area of the square for side lengths of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 inches. The formula for the area of the square, as you remember, is A means the area equal S squared. S means the side of the square. So you can create table. The first row here, the side length, we have 5 values, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Then we want to substitute in the formula here. If S1, 1 squared means 1. If S2, 2 squared means 2 times equal 4. If S3, 3 squared means 3 times 3 will be 9. If 4 squared means 4 times 4 will be 16. And if 5 squared, 5 times 5 will be 25. So the first step, create the table. The second step, graph the function, graph the values in the table as ordered pairs, where x is the side length and y is the area. here x and here y. Then connect the point with a smooth curve. As you see here, 1, 1, 1, 1, this is the first point. Then this is 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 16, and 5, 25. Then you can switch between the points. As you see, we have curve. We have curve, not straight line. Not straight line. So do the point lie on a straight line? No. So the graph is non-linear. Is non-linear. As you see here, a cube has a side length of s meter. The volume of the cube is represented by the expression s cubed. The volume of a cube is a function of the side length. Does this situation represent a linear or non-linear function? Explain. From this graph, as you see, we don't have straight line. We have curve. As you see, we have curve. So the answer means the situation represented a non-linear function. If you graph the function, the ordered pairs, side, length, volume, don't lie on a straight line. So means this is non-linear. Now we want to learn identify linear and non-linear function from tables. You can determine whether a function represented in a table is linear or non-linear. To do so, find the rate of change. If the rate of change is constant, the relationship is linear. So as you see in the first table, study the value of x. Here you have 5, 10, 15, 20. As you see, we have fixed rate or constant rate. Here plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. And here in the second column, study the value of y. You have 8, 6, 4, 2. As you see, we have here negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. So we have fixed or constant rate. So as you remember, the rate of change, the change in the y over the change in the x. We have here negative 2 over 5, negative 2 over 5. So the rate of change is always negative 2 or 5. No change in this rate. Means the function will be what? Will be linear. The function will be linear. In the second example, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. In the second line here, in the second column here, we have 1, 4, 9, 16. From 1 to 4, plus 3. From 4 to 9, plus 5. From 9 to 16, plus 7. So as you see here, the rate 3 over 1. The rate here 5 over 1. The rate here 7 over 1. Means we don't have constant rate of change. So the rate of change 3 over 1, 5 over 1, and 7 over 1 are not the same. So the function is non-linear. Identify linear and non-linear functions from tables. The table shows the minimum number of daily calories a tiger cub should eat based on the age in week. Here we have the age, means the value of x here per weeks, and here we have a minimum calories intake. This is the value of y. And as you see, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here we have these values. Determine whether the function is linear or non-linear and explain. From week 1 to week 2, the rate of change is from here to here we have plus 175, and from here to here we have plus 1. So the rate of change y over x means 175 over 1 equal 175. Then from week 2 to 3, the rate of change is 185. From here to here, we have 1185. Here, as you see, 1000, here 1185. So the change will be 185. And from here to here also we have 1. So I mean the rate of change 185 over 1. The rate of change 185 over 1. So as you see, we have different rate of change. We have different rate of change. So the rate of change are not the same. So the function means non-linear. The function means non-linear. In this example, determine within the table represent a linear or non-linear function and explain. Now, as you see here, from 3 to 4, we have 1. Like from 9 to 16, we have 7. So the rate of change will be 7 over 1. Will be 7 over 1 equals 7. Continue. From 4 to 5, also we have 1. From 16 to 25, we have 9. So the rate of change 9 over 1 will be 9. Right. Now, as you see, we have different rate of change. We have different, here 7, here 9. So the table represents a non-linear function because the rate of change is not constant. Is not constant. Now we want to learn identify linear and non-linear function from equations. In order for an equation to represent a linear function, the equation must be able to be written in the form y equal mx plus b, where m represents the slope or constant rate of change and b represents the y-intercept or the actual value. If an equation represents a nonlinear function, it will have one or more of the following characteristics. So, powers other than 1 on the variable, or square or cube roots of variables expressions, variables in the denominator of a function. And if you have one of these 3 cases inside the equation, means you have nonlinear. As you see here, the equation of the linear must be y equal mx plus b. Here we have the equation, this equation, but here we have square. Not the same, this equation. So it means here non-linear. Here we have in the equation cube. So it means non-linear. Here we have root, square root. So it means non-linear. Here we have a fraction, but the denominator here variable. So it means non-linear. Identify linear and non-linear function from equation. Here, determine whether the equation represents a linear or non-linear function. Explain. Here, y equal x over 3. Y equal x over 3 means y equal 1 over 3 times x. This is the same form y equal mx. So this is linear. Is the equation y equal 1 over 3x in the form y equal mx plus b? Yes, because here the value of b will be 0. Here the value of b equals 0. So the equation y equal x over 3 represents a linear function because it can be written in the form y equal mx plus b, where m is 1 over 3 and b equal 0. Determine whether the equation represents a linear or non-linear function. Explain. As you see here, y equal negative 2x over 5 plus 5. And we can write this equation like y equal negative 2 over 5.
السلام عليكم أستاذ، سوري التأخير.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Negative 2 over 5x plus 5. And the form of the linear, as you remember, y equal mx plus b. As you see, this form, like this form, means the equation represents a linear function because the equation can be written in the form y equal mx plus b. Identify linear and non-linear function from equation. Type. Determine whether the equation represents a linear or non-linear function and explain. As you see in this equation, y equal 3x squared, we have squared, plus 2x plus 5. Here we have squared, means the equation cannot be written in the form y equal mx plus b, because the variable x is raised to a power other than 1, as you see 2. So the equation is non-linear because it cannot be written in the form y equal mx plus b. Determine whether the equation represents a linear or non-linear function and explain. طيب. We have y equals square root of 3x plus 5. We have, as you see, square root. We have square root. Means this is not linear. So the equation represents a non-linear function because it cannot be written in the form y equal mx plus b. The circumference of a circle is a function. As you remember, the circumference of the circle equal to times pi times r. This is the circle, this is the center. The distance from the center of the circle to any point from the circumference of the circle. This is the circumference of the circle. The distance here will be the radius r. And as you remember, pi equal 3.14, about 3.14. And this is the rule of the circumference of the circle. So the circumference of a circle is a function of the circle's radius. We have relationship here between C and R because by constant. Similarly, the area of the circle is also function of the circle. As you remember, the area of the circle equal by R squared. This is the circumference and this is the area. The area of the circle is also function of the circle radius. Which of this relationship is a linear function? Construct and arrangement to justify your response. طيب, which one can be written as a function? The function will be y equal mx plus b. The first one here, y here means c equal. M here means 2 pi. X here means r. And the value of b will be 0. So the first one can be written as this equation. So the first one linear, but the second one we have square. So we cannot write this form as y equal mx plus b. So the second rule not linear. The second rule not linear. So the relationship between the radius and circumference of a circle is linear. The relationship between the radius and area of a circle is non-linear. The area of a square is a function of its perimeter. Similarly, the perimeter of a square is a function of its side length. Which of these relationship is linear function? Construct an argument to justify your response. طيب, the perimeter of the square equal 4s. So this is like y equal mx and the value of y of the b 0. So it means this is linear. So the relationship between perimeter and area of a square, as you see the area, as you remember the area of the square, a equal s squared. Here we have squared, means this is not linear. Of a square is non-linear function. The relationship between side length and perimeter of a square is a linear. So this form linear, this is the relationship between the perimeter and the side. This is linear because we can write this form as y equal mx, but this form not linear. So this is our lesson today. Who have any question about this lesson? Are all ideas clear for all? No questions, girls? Okay. Now we have some exercises from MSAT exam. We want to do training about these ideas. طيب this is the first example here. I want to from all to read this example, then tell me please what is the correct choice. Start please.
The answer is A.
What is your name?
Fatma.
So Fatima said A. Who has different answer? طيب check with me now. 56 divided by 8 equals 7. So this is correct. Because here select the equation that is true when the number 8 is put into the box. Here we have 4 times 4 will be 16. So this is wrong. This is not 8. Here we have 3 times what equal 27. 3 times 9. So this is not correct because this is not 8. And here, which number divided by 2 equals 6? 12. So this is not correct because here we have 12. Type. I want to from all now to read this question and try to solve it. Then tell me please what is your answer. Start please.
It would be 90.
Okay, who can answer me here?
It's 90.
What is your name?
Fatma.
Great, Fatima, thank you. Who has different answer? Like, check with me, please. A teacher goes to the shop to buy paint, brushes, and small cans of paint. She pays a total of 940. So the total will be 940. She buys 8 brushes at 50 dirhams each. So we have 8, the price of each one will be 50. Plus, the rest of the money is used for the 6 cans of paint, and each can of paint costs the same amount. But we don't know the cost. We don't know the cost. So we know the number. The number will be 6, but we don't know the cost. The cost represent any variable, for example, x. Now, as you see here, we have equation. We want to solve this equation. So 940 in the first side equal 8 times 50 will be 400 plus 6x. Subtract 400 from the two sides. 400 and negative 400 will be 0. 940 minus 400 will be 540 equal 6x. Divide the two sides here by 6 and here by 6. So x divided by 6 will be x equal 540 divided by 6 will be 90. So means if the teacher uses all of remaining money to buy the 6 cans of paint, how much cash can she spend per can? Will be what? Will be 90 dirhams. 90 dirhams. طيب, tomorrow inshallah we will discuss together with this example. Who has any question about this lesson? No questions? Okay, this is our period today. I will send to you the PowerPoint to study this lesson from the PowerPoint. Then you can see the record again. Then I will send to you the extra practice. Please, after you study the materials, go to the extra practice to do training. Then you can check your answers from the answer of extra practice. And if you have any question about any example, you can ask me inshallah in the next period. Okay, thank you for your listening. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.